Working. Boom, sound is on. IG is working now. We're good to go. And then just a little early today, everybody. Be a good episode. Hope you guys learn a little something today. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Joaquin Acosta, your guide and advocate in the ever-evolving world of pharmacy and healthcare. As the CEO of PharmTrue and the passionate host of the Know Your Pharmacist live stream, I'm here to bring you an episode that's not just informative, but transformative. Tonight, we're diving deep into the heart of pharmacy, beyond the pills and prescriptions into the realm where ethics, innovation, and community care intersect. We're peeling back the layers of big box pharmacy practices and championing the unsung heroes of our industry, the independent pharmacies. In our Pharmacist Frontline segment, we'll unravel the truth behind CVS's CostVantage program. It's time to question the narrative and uncover what it really means for consumers and independent pharmacies. We're not just discussing, we're dissecting with the precision of a pharmacist's mind and the warmth of a community leader's heart. Tech Talk takes a look at the Walgreens Rx Savings Finders. We're here to decode the marketing jargon and reveal the real impact on patient care. It's about bringing clarity to confusion and truth to obscursion. So, guys, really trying to expose some big box tactics here. In our Enlightenment Hour, we're set to expose the story behind Mark Cuban's Cost Plus drug company. It's a tale of innovation overshadowed by big names and bigger marketing. We stand for the small, the local, the true pioneers. Herbal Wellness Corner is your sanctuary of knowledge in the cannabis world. We're demystifying, educating, and guiding you through the aromatic labyrinth of cannabis. And in our community spotlight, we celebrate the opening of Roasted Rooster Coffee and Waffles, guys. Testament to local entrepreneurship and community spirit. It's about more than just great and upscale coffee and waffles. It's about nurturing the community we cherish. And in our Men's Health Minute, we're taking a time out to focus on mental health and stress management right before we hit the weekend, crucially, often overlooked and unplanned aspects of men's health. So join us as we embark on this journey of enlightenment, empowerment, and engagement. Together, we're not just watching a live stream, we're building a movement, guys, a movement for transparency, fairness, and the true spirit of healthcare. Big heartfelt thanks to our sponsors, PharmTrue, High Horse Cannabis Company, Vado Speedway Park, and the Baked Chicken Farm. Your support fuels our mission to enlighten, educate, and inspire. So tune in, engage, and be part of this transformative journey, guys. Let's learn, grow, and lead together towards a brighter, more informed future in pharmacy and healthcare. Welcome to Know Your Pharmacist, where every voice matters and every story counts. So let's start this one off. Important. Pharmacist Frontline segment, CVS's cost. Man, guys, we're just going to get all the way into it. So, right, sure, everybody's seen these articles and the news headlines, right? CVS saying it's going to change the way its pharmacies are paid. So CVS doing this is a post-reaction to what? Exactly. Things like Amazon and Mark Cuban's Cost Plus drug pricing models, where, again, this is big advertising arguing against big advertising with no true solutions. There's no meat to actually things that have, should be beneficial for everybody else but their pockets. So we're going to talk about this thing, right? CVS's CostVantage program and implications for consumers, and not only consumers, but independent pharmacies. Because again, when you do everything you can to eliminate all other sources of competition and then just start treating everybody else like crap, that's what you call a monopoly that needs to be changed. CVS, Walgreens, you guys are the problem. Amazon, Mark Cuban, you guys are kind of the problem, and we could really hope that you guys try to do something to make this less of a problem. So a step in the right direction or hidden motives of big box strategies. That's what we're talking about, right? CVS's CostVantage program. Is this a deceptive play? You know what I mean? Like, guys, for sure, what does it say, right? Many drugs are going to go up in cost with the CVS CostVantage program. That's one of the things. So not only are you going to have NADAC pricing models applied on top of, things like amlodipine, which may have been, 5 cents on the dollar. And then all of a sudden, we should be getting paid what's called a dispensing fee to actually put the medication together, make sure it's safe for somebody and dispense it out. But again, where that happens, you are all of a sudden going to get it cherry picked for, big drugs that have big inflatable prices, such as, right, your GLP-1 agonists like Ozempic, a big place where to expose the problem, right? Because, being intrigued by CVS Health's announcement here of the CostVantage program for retail pharmacy reimbursement, again, it's trying to use a measure of pharmacy acquisition cost plus some percentage margin and a flat fee for pharmacy services. Again, where does that mean? Again, CVS just gets to fix the pricing for themselves. So CVS, as an insurance company, for those of you guys who don't know, CVS Health is like 79% of the pharmacy benefit manager, the PBM market. So, right, CVS is controlling the insurance. CVS controls the cost of the drugs that they pay for, and then they control the price of the insurance that they tell you the drugs are going to be costed, right? Walgreens plays the same game. And again, this is a huge scale, and what they're doing is inflating the price of brand name drugs. What may cost $10 all of a sudden to develop, they mark it up for $200, call that standard pricing, give you a coupon card, and all of a sudden tell you, you're good to go by trading your data and trading, a lot of other security to just get that price down. And what do I have to say about it? It's BS. It's literally just BS. And so that's where we're at, guys. I mean, basically at the end of the day, one of the big places to expose all of this is that pharmacies were losing money on the GLP-1 agonists, right? Showing you guys right here. So for instance, Ozempic, right? $1,000 for the box on a brand name may cost $10 to produce, but they can mark it up to whatever they want because they set the market. And so the only people that don't, win in these situations are the patients and the providers and the pharmacies. So the providers get locked into picking whatever the insurances designate is appropriate. And if the insurance designates it's not appropriate, then it's a whole pain in the butt to get something else going. And then the patients have to suffer with whatever, all these terms and conditions lead to and pay top dollar for it. And the pharmacies that are dispensing it basically are doing it for free. So independent pharmacy gets completely drained. All of a sudden you have in the big macro pharmacy problems, pharmacy barren wastelands in the low socioeconomic parts of our country, right? In the big Medicaid regions, all of a sudden CVS is chasing everybody out of those places from being able to operate because, you can't afford to do so. And then they're not going to put their stores there to help those people because they don't care about people. They care about profit, not people. And all of a sudden you have big barren wastelands and nobody to help those big barren wastelands because CVS is trying to price out their competition so they can acquire them or, eliminate the competition in general, which by pricing them out, they're only adding to their own deep wallets while, screwing up the entire American healthcare system. And yes, that is my absolute radical opinion on that. And I'm 100% backed by every other independent pharmacist in the entire country, guys. And I'm telling you, where you're going to see doctors and, whatever other paid influencers that are out there saying, oh man, CVS is so transparent. Good for them. We're coming a long way. No. It's a marketing move to show that they're trying to do what Amazon and Mark Cuban are doing and saying that they're doing, that's changing the game. To some degree of changing the game, a little bit. But again, it's not enough to actually, make it an even playing field for everyone, and then actually truly making a fair pricing model for the entire United States population, not only from taxpayers paying for these government insurance programs, but for patients who pay cash for their own medications anyways. And so again, everybody who's wanting to avoid the insurance game by whatever Amazon or Mark Cuban is selling you, right? You're saying, well, I don't want to pay into my insurance. I'm not going to pay copays. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to pay straight up. So I know what I'm paying. Well, all of a sudden, right, then everybody's doing that and you can set the price to something ridiculous, and you're really just moving that price from one place to another. And the same guy gets to keep it at the end of the day. The same people keep losing at the end of the day. So what we are talking about, guys, is frustrating, times, but absolute necessity to talk about, to expose, and to make sure that, we do not sit here and try to think that, positive things have happened. Okay, think about what happened in CVS in the last 2 to 3 months. You've had Pharmageddon, guys. You had pharmacists for the first time ever in history walking out of stores, starting in Kansas City, saying, we're done, we're fed up. That spread over to Rite Aid, that spread over to Walgreens. All of a sudden, you have one of the biggest pharmacy revolutions happening ever in health and in healthcare spreading around now. And again, CVS saying, okay, great, we'll buy you all pizza, and all of a sudden we're going to release a CostVantage program so people think we're cool. No, that's not what it is, right? It's bogus, absolutely bogus. And, it's truly worth exposing hidden motives there that things are not changing. Sorry to say it. And, another place to really talk about that too, not letting Walgreens off the hook. Walgreens and your Rx Savings Finder, another place to really talk about, because, this is something on the Walgreens side that they're trying to, say, we're going to save you your cash on your drugs. So instead of good RX or, basically marking drugs to whatever price up that they want and then marking them down in the, method of let's, get you to use our store and then you can get our preferred pricing. Let's think about this 10 years ago, guys. Walmart used to have what was a $4 and a $10 drug pricing program. That was actually a good thing. Out of all the damn drug pricing programs that have ever hit our country, Walmart's $4 and $10 drug list was awesome. Whether or not they were losing a ton of money to be able to do that, that's not what I'm necessarily discussing right here, because at the end of the day, it is a business move. But they took down that price for generic drugs, for diabetes drugs, for high blood pressure medications, a lot of common disease states that are, hitting all the chronic diseases throughout our country, that are quite expensive, and for people that may not have qualified for government insurance, so on and so forth, could actually afford medication for the first time ever. And then all of a sudden you're looking at, things like Walgreens Savings Finder and GoodRx, where you have to literally commit, not only to only going to Walgreens, but to putting all your, information into GoodRx, so on and so forth, to thus agree to get that original price, which is still incredibly marked up, right, guys? Incredibly marked up. And that's, United States paying literally balloon pricing for things that are not okay. And, we're paying some incredible burden for it. They're not paying the same prices in any other part of the world. And, the ones that are suffering for it is every single American citizen, every single independent pharmacy and independent pharmacist that's actually trying to help and that's out there for their community. At the end of the day, big box is not out there for the community. They're liars. And, the employees that have to sit there and play by their rules and by their game don't get to be, even if in their heart of hearts, you're out there for the community. At the end of the day, big box doesn't care, because if you don't hit your 50 shots in a day, if you don't do your phone calls, if you don't do this, that, and the other and hit all your metrics, they're still cutting hours. They still don't give a crap. They still do not care about you, your family, or anybody. And it's literally just getting more robotized by the day. And the more that we talk about it and don't do anything about it and, keep letting it envelope, the more that we are going to continue to suffer the consequences of what capitalism, a consequence of the capitalism market here in America, which capitalism is awesome. Capitalism should stay. This is not a plea for socialism. This is just a plea for non-corruption, right? And that's totally fair. You can ask for that. You should be able to be paid fairly for the goods and services that you provide. And if you got one of these, a PharmD and a white coat, and you want to help out your community and you want to be able to do it in a fair way, you shouldn't have to work for the freaking pill mill guys, Walgreens, and be forced to be turned into a slave after taking out hundreds of thousands of dollars in school debt to become a doctor, to become a provider, to become somebody in your community that is trusted, that is a beacon of hope and healing. And that is BS, to torture those people into, not working at the top of their license, into, all these things. And that's what we're talking about today. We're exposing, it's a pharmacy revolution, and these big headlines that are out there in the world right now that are trying to sit there and soften your opinion towards the big box. I ain't gonna let it happen, BS. So anyways, Enlightenment Hour, Westview Pharmacist. Guys, I don't know if anybody had ever heard of this Blueberry Pharmacy, Kyle McCormick, but I want to give credit where credit is due, because the one person who actually inspired Mark Cuban to start with low cost drug venture. And Mark Cuban, great marketer, right? Obviously has now, matched what Amazon was already doing. So again, Mark Cuban went and did what Amazon was already trying to do and doing. So then he created his own way, sold it as Mark Cuban versus Big Box. And, he's changing the pricing game when, again, Blueberry was actually the first initial concept. Kyle McCormick laid out the model here, and we want to give credit where credit is due, because his name wasn't Mark Cuban, again, he was the one who actually figured out how to do this and do it properly and fairly for their community, right? So talking about, Kyle McCormick and being a Pittsburgh native here, taking on Big Pharma, he has been running his independent store on this model for 2 years, literally by himself, right? He talked to Mark Cuban a while back, so much and so forth, and he, truly convinced, Mark Cuban for creating this model. And cool, Amazon had it. Amazon didn't sell it as good as Mark Cuban did. And then Mark Cuban came in there and it actually made Amazon's pitch even that much better. Because now you look at the big players and you really look at the war against Walgreens and CVS and Big Pharma there. And it's like, well, you need to find some allies somewhere. So maybe, Mark Cuban, maybe Blueberry, these guys are actually gonna be able to do something. Maybe Amazon will do something, but will they make the right moves to make it a, fair and reasonable market for everybody? Obviously, probably not. But this is not a acceptable thing for us to just say, CVS and Walgreens can create some sort of their own pricing model all of a sudden and tell you everything's going to be okay. Because again, everything in the world, all drugs, in the United States, are priced off of AWP, your average wholesale price. They mark it up to the outstanding possible price that it could possibly be. And they're just fixed prices. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a fixed price. Even if something wasn't updated properly and it costs you half a cent to produce something and it's marked up for $20 a pill and it just didn't get changed, that price just stays fixed, right? There's really nothing to it. So again, when you look at all that, all of a sudden they just actually went and reasonably gave themselves probably 1,000% margins on all their drugs and then gave you a menu and all of a sudden it looks better than all the AWP pricing. Guys, that is a mind fuck. And I hate to sit there and say the word, right? But that is literally a mind fuck, and 110%, because again, it's trying to tell you something is on sale when it was never on sale in the first place. And the price that they originally told you was so astronomically insane that any price below that you feel okay with. And again, because we have no idea about drug pricing and the big drug pricing industry convinces us to believe it, we all think CVS and Amazon, Mark Cuban are saviors. Bullshit. Call them that right now. Anyways, let's move on because I'm passionate, frustrated, but we're here. Segment 4, Herbal Wellness Corner, talking to our cannabis curious, cannabis confused, cannabis naive. Guys, I know there's lots of questions for those who have never tried cannabis before, and those who have considered it, those who have, maybe talked to their doctor about it, and those who really have no idea what's going on with it. Guys, I know there's a lot of questions when it comes to cannabis. I know you may be cannabis confused. You may know someone who is cannabis naive or cannabis curious, but I'm telling you, send them over to Farm True, send them over to High Horse Cannabis Company. That's where to go. High Horse Cannabis Company's got Christmas deals going through December 25th, and each one of our diligently smart staff employees can really help you all over town. Chaparral and Hobbs, New Mexico, we got your ticket covered. Cool, so moving on, Herbal Wellness Corner. From our Herbal Wellness Corner, moving on to the Community Spotlight, brought to you by the Big Chicken Farm. Who we're shouting out today, the Roasted Rooster guys. So if you haven't gone to check out their awesome coffee and waffles, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. over on Amador, right off of Picacho and Motel down there by the highway, guys. Las Cruces' newest, latest, and greatest place to go check out high-end coffee and waffles. Waffle House is really popular. However, at the same time, you might get killed if you go there, especially in Albuquerque. I lived there for 4 years. Waffle House on Central. Central and Tramway, that was a scary place to go. And, people just went to go just for, sometimes you could just go there for free and just watch something crazy happen. At least you go people watching. This is the opposite of that, guys. This is upscale coffee and waffles, locally owned and operated, brought to you guys. Delicious, delicious, delicious food. So last thing, Men's Health Minute. we are discussing right before we hit the weekend, guys. I hope in our Men's Health Minute that everybody realizes, and our men's realizes, hey, I know you don't probably consider taking a day off, taking some time for yourself, taking a designated time to relax. But my challenge to you is before we get into this weekend, men, jump in, plan yourself like 3 to 4 hours of you time. I don't care what it is. It's good. It's good to take the stress off. I know right now you're going to look at work, pressure, family, so much things going on. You know, right before you hit the stress of the holiday season, Christmas coming in, 2+ weeks, give yourself 3 to 4 hours. If you can give yourself a day, give yourself a day. Do it. I'm telling you, schedule it. Do it before all this holiday madness happens. And otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hope everybody has a good rest of their day.